that patients who had received biological equivalent dose of more than 100 gray is a significantly better overall survival as well as local control as compared to the dose fractionation which used less than 100 BED. In the long-term outcomes of around 160 patients, they showed that a 10-year local control of around 85% with a PFS and OS of around 25%. This was followed by a multiple randomized control trial which were initiated comparing the role of surgery versus SBRT with a target accrual of around 1,500 patients. However, all these trials had to stop early because of the poor accrual. There were multiple reasons which were quoted for the poor accrual, like non-participation of the large centers who were practicing more of a surgery. Second, preference for a patient's preference regarding one particular treatment, either a surgery or SBRT, so as it was becoming difficult for them to accrue in the trial and randomize between one of the arms. There was a study which pooled the patients which were accrued in the STARS in the Roselle trial. Around 30 patients each were included in this pooled analysis, which showed that SBRT had a better overall survival as compared to the surgery. The toxicity wise, around 10% of the patient had grade 3 and more higher toxicities. In the surgery arm, around 11 patients had the toxicity. So they concluded saying that the SBRT can be an option for operable stage 1 NSCLC. However, we need to have a lot of additional randomized data before we can make a final conclusion whether both the treatment are equivalent or any of the treatment is superior. The special concern for the SBRT is the central and the ultracentral tumor. The various authors have given definitions for this kind of tumors. The commonest accepted definition is within 2 centimeters from the trachea and the proximal bronchial tree. So this is technically was given by the Timmerman known as the no-flying zone. So in this area we should not contemplate to give very high dose of radiation because the chances of toxicities are high. So in the Timmerman, in that analysis of 70 patients, they showed that for a centrally located tumor, the grade 3 and grade 5 toxicities were to the tune of around 27% with a fatal bleeding causing a death of a patient. However, if we fractionate more, we reduce the dose per fraction and give the treatment in more fraction, like we commonly practice a 7.5 gray in 8 fraction, then the chances of having a grade 3 to grade 5 toxicity is negligible. So it is well tolerated, we can deliver the effective doses, but the toxicities can be prevented. There are multiple ongoing studies which are again trying to compare the SBRT with a surgery. However, the results are expected in 4 to 5 years down the line, provided they are able to accrue the number of required patients so as to have the power of study to demonstrate the efficacy and the benefit. Coming to the response assessment, as we discussed in the panel, we do usually a response assessment after 3 months. A PET CT is done and the follow-up scans are necessary so as to pick up the disease recurrence at the early stage. There are some high-risk features which we need to look on the follow-up imaging, like the enlarging opacity at the primary site, the sequential enlarging opacity, the enlargement of the opacity after 12 months, bulging margin, loss of inner margin, or some air bronchogram loss. The presence of 3 or more high-risk features has a high sensitivity and specificity for recurrence over the post-RT changes. Coming to the common toxicities post SBRT, the radiological radiation pneumonitis is seen in almost 50 to 80% of the patient. The symptomatic pneumonitis is seen in less than 5% of the patient. The chest wound and the skin toxicity is seen in around 5 to 10% of the patient. The brachial plexopathy is rare. The fatal bleeding, which especially for the central tumor, can be as high as 20-25% if we give very high dose per fraction to the treatment. The radiation pneumonitis, grade 2 pneumonitis is seen in around 9% of the patient. A grade 3 or a symptomatic pneumonitis is seen in around less than 2% of the patient. The factors which predispose the patient to develop a radiation pneumonitis post SBRT are the older age, the large tumor, stage 1B versus 1A, the radiation parameters like the mean lung dose and V20. So we need to control the mean lung dose as well as the V20 to reduce the chances of pneumonitis. The chest wall toxicity can be a significant problem. by virtue of a soft tissue fibrosis, skin ulceration, neuropathic pain, or a rib fracture. The incidence is around 10 to 40%. Usually develops after 1 to 1.5 years of the treatment. So to conclude, SBRT an effective modality for early stage lung cancer. It has a minimal toxicities. It is more effective than the conventional fractionation radiotherapy. It is probably as good as the surgery for early stage lung cancer, if not better. However, we don't have a randomized data to say that. It is a standard for the inoperable patients. Risk-adopted approach with a fractionation should be adopted for the central and the ultracentral tumors. Thank you.